Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm Taha, this is Taha Games, and today I'm bringing you an epic Titanfall gameplay, and we're going to be talking about my thoughts on Titanfall 2. So, just to introduce you guys to the gameplay, this is a beast mode gameplay on the map Rise, and as you can see I'm playing Attrition. I'm using my smart pistol, the Mark V, and this is on PC. So this is the game looking about as pretty as it can look. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Anyway, so today I'm bringing you this gameplay, and I wanted to talk a little bit about Titanfall. I know that I was pretty late to this party, so I'm sure that some of the stuff that I'm going to say here maybe has been said before, but I'm hoping that I can bring maybe a few suggestions about Titanfall 2 that are kind of new to the table. And I guess before I get underway with regards the criticisms of Titanfall or the improvement points for Titanfall 2 from my perspective, I guess maybe I should mention what's actually good about the game. And number one, I mean, I think, just to say, first of all, I think this game could have been 10 times the game that it is, and it was so close as well. In a way, that's the tragedy of this game, but the reasons that this game could have been so brilliant really were because it had some incredible qualities to it. First of all, as you guys can see, it's visually a really beautiful game. The way that the maps are laid out, the colours, the design of everything, you know, I just think visually it's a really beautiful game, and the actual design, the aesthetics of the Titans, of the characters, the way that they move and the way that they appear to navigate the environment is really original and really cool. And I think that's something that they didn't take enough use of. One of the problems with the multiplayer, really, and I was going to do this commentary as kind of going through all the good things first and then going through the bad things, but I think I kind of need to talk about them all together, just because they are all interlinked. One of the really cool things about this game is the way that players can navigate the map, and in a way it's a shame that the developers didn't really use that more to their advantage and make a game that was more interesting and more variable. And I think one of the ways that they could have done that, and at the same time avoided one of the biggest problems about this game, is they could have gotten rid of the computer-controlled players, so the bots. And I think everyone knows that the bots are some of the most annoying things about this game. When we go into a multiplayer experience, nobody wants to or really cares about playing bots, and it seems like almost like a bit of a cheap kind of knockoff of what a multiplayer game should be, and a kind of a lame attempt to mishmash a campaign with multiplayer. Multiplayer really should be purely about, you know, your competitive edge. It should be about playing against other people. And one of the really annoying things about this game, for me, is that you know, you'll come around a corner, you'll see a whole host of enemies, and then suddenly you'll realize that one of those enemies, I mean, like 10 of them are going to be bots and are basically going to be completely useless and wouldn't be able to kill you if you stood still for, you know, 10 seconds in front of them. But the human who's kind of mixed in amongst all of them will take you out in a second, and you won't know who that person is unless they fire and they come up as a bigger dot on the minimap. But if they haven't fired yet and they start to fire directly at you, chances are you're going to get taken out and you won't know who they are, and that's really irritating. Plus, it just cheapens the experience. It just makes it feel, I don't know, it just kind of doesn't really work that well. You know, to have a situation where you've got bots and people. And I think everybody wants a person versus person experience, and that's what everyone goes into multiplayer games for. So I think that was a huge design mistake, and kind of an example of how millions of dollars and probably thousands or even tens of thousands of man hours of design can be kind of undone in a way by a bad management decision. Because I can't imagine that it was your kind of grunts on the ground, as it were, you know, developers who made that decision. I imagine it was some managers, and it was design managers, people who were in charge of the overall structure of the game, who made the decision to have bots, and it was really a disastrous decision, in my opinion. And going back to what I was saying about one of the cool things about how moving around the map is one of the coolest things about this game. I feel like they could have done so much more with it. One of the main problems with the game is that players find it really difficult, like teams of players, especially in the competitive scene, find it really difficult to take out teams of Titans, or even individual Titans, because you have really cheap kind of gimmicks like electric smoke that essentially mean that what could have been one of the coolest aspects of this game, which is individual players possibly grouping together and working as teams to take out Titans, you know, that just gets completely undercut by electric smoke and by other abilities that some of these Titans have. And I feel like what they could have done is incorporated the way that people move around the map into having player elements, pilot elements that basically allowed pilots to pick up kind of like power-ups like you'd have in Halo from certain points in the map that will, I mean, I wouldn't say spawn, but would kind of drop in the same way that Titans drop at certain points in the map at certain times, but you'd have to kind of use your skill to move around to get there. And I think that would be a really cool way of, at times, giving pilots a way of taking out Titans without making it too easy for those pilots and without making the Titans redundant. And on the other hand, you could have kind of like Titan kill streaks, you know, like you have the damage core, but other things that allow you, after doing considerably well with the Titans, to take out pilots a little bit easier, to kind of balance the two across. So on the one hand, you'd have pilots being able to take out Titans, especially if they work in teams, if they have certain pieces of equipment that they've gone and gotten from certain points in the map. And that would introduce some really cool things about map control. You know, that would introduce you know, where teams had to be smart about how and where they kind of controlled maps and which points were useful, because certain points would be more useful than others. You know, certain points would be more useful than others because they have certain key weapons that would drop into them. And I think that would kind of get rid of, in my opinion, those things would get rid of the two key problems that this game has that really go against what it could have been. And those two key problems, from my mind, really are the bots and the fact that the Titans are crazy powerful and it's almost impossible as a pilot to take a Titan out, especially if they've got things like electric smoke. I mean, personally, I still really enjoy the game because, as I said, the design's beautiful, the aesthetic is just, I mean, the way that they've, even just the player menus when you first go into the game are really cool. The kind of, the production quality, the music, and the way that the Titans move, visually this game is absolutely amazing, especially if you're playing it on a high-end PC. But I just feel like the gameplay is lacking in those two key areas, and I feel like that could have really changed it. That could have made the competitive scene a lot better, and well, it could have meant that a competitive scene actually lasted, and that would have meant that this game ultimately would have stuck around a lot longer in terms of its life cycle. But yeah, anyway guys, those are my suggestions for Titanfall 2. Let me know what you think and if you're still enjoying the game. If you've enjoyed this, then hit the like button and subscribe for more, and I will see you next time.